Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Dan to Dan, Season 2.
Yep, Dan to Dan, Season 2, Episode 11. Welcome back to the Dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo, and hey, it's time for another kaiju that's not getting beat up by John Cena. There's too much stuff that whenever we do stuff, it coincides in really weird ways, and it just keeps happening, and it lines up, and it just weirds me out. It's not on purpose. Even if I want it to be on purpose, it happens, and there's nothing I can do about it. So...
But I thought we were supposed to beat up John Cena.
I thought we were supposed to beat up John Cena on the side of AJ Styles. I'm gonna have to watch that match later, because that happened today. John Cena and AJ Styles' last match ever, probably. But, that happened at 5 a.m. I was not up at 5 a.m. because they're in Perth, Australia. So, translate that to West Coast US, and their 8 p.m. is like my 5 a.m. So, you know, not as much as I do enjoy watching wrestling, no. So, that's I'll catch the replay whenever Madhouse is around. But, anyway, as for Dan to Dan, we got introduced to Kinta, I believe his name is. We didn't actually get his name in the episode, but we looked it up. So there's that. He's going to be around. We have the kaiju that's definitely not a wacky, wailing, inflatable arm flailing tube man. I mean, that's what it looked like.
By the way, I actually looked it up to see what exactly they changed. And literally all they changed was horns.
Oh yeah, it was just the horns. Yeah, I know they changed something about it because of it looked too much like one of the Godzilla friends or foes, whatever.
It's like Gamora or something like that. But yeah they gave it the like curved bull-like horns instead of in the manga it has just straight out horns, which is very Gamora looking.
Got it. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what the heck is going on with this, but again, this show has had very good pacing, so in these last 2 episodes here, I'm sure madness will occur. I do know one thing that happens. Can't talk about it. I'm pretty sure it's at the end of the last episode. It doesn't really surprise me, but a lot of people have been memeing about a certain thing, and that's going to be kind of fun to talk about, but it's either way, not really a huge amount to say going into this. It'll be interesting to see if the Evil Eye gets involved in this at all. That's kind of like the biggest question mark. Are you just going to like show up and, you know, help with the madness? So we'll just have to see if it is a wacky, wailing, inflatable arm flailing tube man, or just looks that way for some reason. So anyway, we're going to push some buttons and get going here, so people on Patreon, we will get the timer stuff going here for you guys, and then for YouTube, we will see you on the other side of that edit for the review. So, here goes some! Well, alrighty then. We certainly had a battle with a kaiju that, well, we've been making fun of Shield Hero recently for messing up my camera. Thank you. For being more like Power Rangers, and this kind of feels like a classic episode of Power Rangers, right? You fight the monster, it gets big, you try to fight it in your non-Megazord form, and then you get in your Megazord and fight it. So that's where we're at. Why not? There's a lot of Power Ranger-esque stuff going on these days with the stuff we're watching. Maybe you could call in John Cena and he can, help. The terrific trio from Dimension X, I believe, is the Nazi dimension they're currently in. But Peacemaker doesn't know that yet on the part that we're at. But we know. We pieced it together. But once again, it's one of those things where it's just like, you see a lot of this kind of like using the terrain to your advantage and stuff like that. And then the most effective piece of equipment that was used to fight this thing was a freaking backpack.
So to be fair, it was Evil Eye throwing a backpack.
Yeah, so it was charged with, freaking
malicious intent.
Malicious intent and just freaking yokai energy. So
yeah. Which we already know yokai energy counters aliens.
Yep. So
that's one of the big problems with Ira and friggin' Okarun fighting aliens at the moment is neither of them have any actual like yokai attacks. All their yokai powers are just centered around enhancing their physical form.
Yep. So either way, again, this was, some fairly classic kaiju sequence. Ira doing Ira things. You know what I mean? Age mentioned at the end of the reaction there, she wants to just be the leader so she can shove it in Momo's face. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? She doesn't actually want to lead.
She proclaims herself the leader the whole time and insists that she's going to be the leader, but she doesn't actually take any sort of leadership role. She only wants to be the leader so that way she can get one over on Momo. Pretty much.
But she got multiple over on her in this episode, technically. I mean, the way she was clinging to Okarun multiple times, she's winning the freaking waifu battle. So that was definitely a thing. Nothing like a good old-fashioned fat sequence. Gotta appreciate that. Evil Eye wanting to murder stuff,
Keita officially can see the supernatural now.
Yeah, I'd assume if you're in close enough proximity to nonsense like this, then it just kind of triggers for you, I guess. Something like that. It's either something to do with the fact that he got sucked into the barrier for the alien tech, or just, through proximity to all the others using their yokai power and stuff like that. Something just kind of triggered for him to where now he's aware of them. Right.
Where he wasn't initially.
Yep. Because, let's be real, this is not really any different than Okarun's first experience with the Turbo Granny stuff and the aliens. I mean, he's not getting inhabited by a yokai, but still, you know what I mean?
He doesn't have anyone trying to gobble his dog.
Yeah, he doesn't have that going on, which he probably doesn't have to worry about that being the perv that he is, so. It would have been hilarious if, when they were in the giant robot and they had, like, the comms, if it, instead of saying Quinta, just said perv. That would have really been a hilarious, just, like, side thing, because half of the creation of that Buddha giant robot was Momo's. So,
yeah.
To be fair, though, I guess the tech side would be his, so,
Yeah, the tech side was his. He was trying to create a giant robot, but then Momo kind of interfered and came up with the giant Buddha instead.
Yep.
One of the things they didn't reveal it, but one of the things I was kind of expecting, one of the jokes to be, because the whole thing of, like, the different Power Rangers / Super Sentai members, like, they all take over a part of the body. Like, you were commenting about, like, Evil Eye potentially being the useless arm because he has no idea how to operate it. The joke being that Okarun is the crotch.
Yeah.
Because once again, he enters through the bathroom.
Yeah, he does enter through the bathroom. So it'll be interesting to see where everybody's at. But
if we get that, but
yeah,
the only one who really got, like, definitely established is that Momo's in the head.
Yeah. So either way, again, reasonable action sequences, stuff like that. Hopefully that wasn't enough to trigger copyright, but it was like a quarter of a second. But I'm a little too paranoid on that crap anymore. Usually whenever I was doing this, I never got flagged. Still images, so whatever. But either way, the other thing that I kind of did notice in the background, I don't know if you guys saw it, but like during like the sequence when they're just kind of like, it was right there. I had it for a second and now it's gone. But like the Evil Eye in the background looking at the shrine, like,
yeah.
So you gotta appreciate the childlike curiosity. He was doing all kinds of stuff that kids would do, like lying under a table like he was. That kind of crap. It's total kid stuff. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely freaking hilarious. And you also have to appreciate, Okarun pointing out, like, hey, we can't exactly let him fight because he's a kid and then he'll think it's okay to fight anybody. So
yeah. So once again, the whole deal is that he's only allowed to fight Okarun. Only Okarun is okay to fight. So if you, with kids, if you lax up on the deal at all and say, well, oh no, but that one's okay, then it turns into, oh no, but why isn't this one okay?
Yep. And then that one, and then that one, and then are we there yet? So yeah, the sulking in the background was pretty classic. Again,
he just wants to murder.
Yeah, he just wants to murder, and Momo wants to murder Ira for doing crap like this. Which, you know, she's gonna take every opportunity that she can get, because that's just how it is. Though I know something that's coming next episode that's, well,
yep,
solid whelp in this front, but that is what it is. So we'll talk about that next week and the memes that came about it. But as for this episode, you know, not really a huge amount to say about it, really. I mean, it was still Dan to Dan. It was still fun. It was interesting. The combat sequence was fine. He used optical camouflage again, so maybe we thought that he could only use optical camouflage when he was small. Not so much. So
that's what Momo suspected, was that, like, it basically had two combat modes, the fast, stealthy mode and then the big power mode. But no, it can still use its other abilities. Just because it's big doesn't mean it lost any of its freaking speed or stealth abilities.
Right. Which, let's not forget that Okarune's ball is potentially at the center of this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be his other wall, but, you know, it could be. I mean, it's just been kind of lying around gathering energy. You know what I mean? So, or the aliens found it and are using it to try to get him. You know what I mean? So, it will be interesting to get all that kind of stuff clarified, but again, not a huge amount to say about this one, because we just kind of have to wait for this fight to pan out and talk about how the season on the whole. So again, still solid enough episode. It had its moments. Again, I mentioned at the end of the episode there that you know, Kinta being like hyper aware about like not being able to like contain his excitement. It's just like, what are you talking about? There's no possible way I can not be happy about this. And Age mentioned it too, is like that's the same VA that does like Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan and Osuke from Demon Slayer, among several other things. That VA's been around for a while. He's done a lot of like hyper aware characters. You know what I mean? I make the Ronaldo comparison. Steven Universe. Kinta is basically a Ronaldo. Obviously not the same VA, but still, he's going very like deep in the bag for going like full nerd mode.
Yeah, which in general seems like it's going to be his role in the party. Is that it's like we have Momo, who's the spiritual specialist. We have Okarune, who's the alien specialist, and now Kinta, who's the sci-fi specialist.
Yep. So it will be interesting to see like if he just gets really good with like the nanotech or something, because anybody can use it, because half of this is his creation. You know what I mean? So it should prove for an interesting dynamic, especially with what I know is coming next episode. A lot of people are going to be pissed off, or they're already pissed off. We just haven't gotten to talk about it yet, because you know that was like 2 weeks ago that the final episode aired. But
I haven't mentioned the context to it, but I have mentioned to you as well that apparently some of the more recent stuff that's happened in the manga has people pretty pissed off.
Right. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. It was fun. It was interesting. You know, just a little bit of more setup than anything else, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get the Mantissian involved, and this kid can do the song again. You know, maybe they'll use the Mantissian spaceship as like, you know, like go full like Xena warrior princess and throw it at the kaiju or something.
It'll freaking it'll ram the kaiju while freaking the Mantissian's riding on top of it, all freaking Gurren Lagann style, and then it'll freaking punch it.
Right. We just gotta believe in the me that believes in you. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond however you're watching, we always appreciate you stopping by and hanging out here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was Dan to Dan, Season 2, Episode 11. We got one more to go next week. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.